Bumpity bumpadum. Oh. It's Tuesday. The day the time forgot. Bill's got his comfort shirt on. Oh, yeah. And a special monogrammed KOGI Radio Lake Chelan. Here's Tim Creek with the weather forecast. Tim Creek. It's kind of aggressive, Bill. An aggressive way to start. Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome back to the Treehouse. Treehouse Concert celebrating its 21st episode this evening, which means it's old enough to drink. We're going to serve it up a big mug of mystery beverage. Yeah, that's what we're going to do. Thanks, Mom. We'll back it up with this one here. It's a kicker. It's a chaser. Thank you, Tim and Demetra. And last but not least, gotta have some Good Joe. Oh, that's Good Joe. That's Good Joe. Good Joe, ladies and gentlemen. Almost forgot my special Les Paul marching powder. I don't know what it means. I don't know, I just made it up. From the market, a left and a right turn, the hub of the business wheel, young radio is burning. I was there at the climax, just before it started to die. Rolling the big trucks, watch the citizens point and cry. They're digging up the street where the steel drum band taught me how to love that sound. Don't they know that corner is sacred ground? Wedge-shaped buildings, slices of grandma's pie, Coca-Cola neon, and they're backed by a visible sky. All that's changing in the flash of a hard hat grin. They're gonna rip it up and build us some tall gray walls to hold all the people in. They're digging up the street where the shoe shine man taught us all how to look down, while we were checking our shoes and we're walking on sacred ground. Second floor cafe, plate glass balcony, fishbowl business ladies walking away from me. Transient blankets stagger the same crooked line, adrenaline surging through me, time after time after time. They're digging up the street where the Mohawks meet, looking like the lost and found, grinding their butts in the gutters of sacred ground. Sacred ground, sacred ground. Sterile invaders swallow another block. Sleepless survivors, they're forced to absorb the shock. Official position, it'll put more time in your day. But they dig up the soul and the spirit, load it up and cart it away, yeah. They're digging up the street where the steel drum band taught me how to love that sound. Don't they know that corner is sacred ground? Don't they know that corner is sacred? Sacred ground. Sacred ground. And I need a no mama 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 mama. But even if I down bound they went, they take it down the bound they went, they take it down the bound they went, take it. Good night, everybody. Yeah. Adrenaline. Spock. Adrenaline. Actually, it's a B vitamin shot. I just took a B vitamin shot. What are you going to do? Can we talk? It's Tuesday. I wouldn't miss this for nothing, man. So you may have noticed that my left hand was a little wambly on that. My left hand might be a little wambly tonight because I got this what they call the relapsing remitting brand of MS, which is good. It's the good kind to have. But I believe I'm in the midst of a bit of a relapse and waiting for the remit, which will come. But my left arm's a little weak and tingly, and usually it's my right arm that feels kind of numb and tingly, but my left arm is like numb and tingly on steroids or something. I don't know. It's weird. It's been that way most of the week. But feels much better when I'm singing and playing. See, this is like reminding me that I'm actually a pretty lucky guy, you know, in a lot of ways, because this thing that I enjoy the most is actually fairly pain-free. So that's good. That's good. I like that. Let's hope that's going to last a while, huh? Yeah. So I hear that Scott and Rhonda have brought some extra people with them. Ralphie is in the house. Wow. Welcome, Ralphie. Start them early. Ralphie, you know, if you want to buy all my albums, I'll give you a quantity discount, Ralphie. So let me know when you get that savings account set up. We'll talk. In the meantime, your grandfather requested a song last week. And your grandma, too. Heartbreak me back to Summer Island. Map in my mind the Puget Sound. Replay those memories like movies. Restore each frame of dewy ground. Now that my good work's growing weary and my relations growing wings, I will not feel so old and dreary if I can recollect these things. Heartstrings that sing on Summer Island around a fire of salted wood. I hear those melodies receding. I'd run to catch them if I could, before the photos fade completely and all our gardens turn to stones. These friends I'd serenade discreetly to press more love into their bones. Heart warmed me home to Summer Island, where my first flare for words was lit. These crooked lines are just a remnant of how they fed intended it. Now that my good work's growing weary and my relations growing wings, I will not feel so old and dreary if I can recollect these things. Heartbreak me back to Summer Island, map in my mind the Puget Sound, replay those memories like movies, restore each frame of dewy ground, replay those memories like movies. Any Higginses or their relations that are in the house, that's for you guys. Unless Sue happens to be here too. Sue Beer, Monty, will be for her too. Something about, do I hear the, what is it? It's the distant rattle of paper moving closer, ever closer, ever. Hello. Why, thank you. I'm just kidding. Val, Mom, Mug, Kathy, and Loris are here. Holly and Kim are here. Mike Buckman. Good evening, sir. Jeff Steve in California with his friend Ann. Oh. Pleasure to meet you, Ann. Welcome aboard. Could get weird, because, yeah, you'll get to know me. You'll get to know me. Karen Harris. Tie-dye with plaid. Is this a hippy-dippy thing? What do you think? Yeah. Bill Kaufman. Welcome, sir. Dorothy and Roland Birch. Hey, you guys. Welcome into the treehouse. Goodness gracious. That's some generous attendance there. Thank you, guys, for doing that. For coming here. Being here. Stuff like that there. So I was going to try some old stuff tonight, but I think it's going to need to wait until I'm a little past this current problem with the old left hand. Who's chiming in on text? Boy, oh boy, it's just a multimedia show. Why should I wait? Why should I wait? I want to do something that if you had told me when we started this, which was it, 6 months ago, that I would be doing what I'm about to do, I might have laughed at you. I might have gone, well, you can't ask too much for it. But there's something I'm going to do now. I'm making a move here, people. Who is this little guy? Well, by way of introduction to this little guy, let me show you something here real quick. There's that little guy. That guy holding that little guy is my dad. I think he was probably home from college for the summer. He and his folks were out camping. That's his mom sitting next to him, my grandmother. My grandfather, I'm assuming, is taking the photo. But the real star of the photo, really, is this ukulele. I'm not sure it's in tune, so... Oh, wait a minute. This is a bold move on my part. Okay, Dad, it was good to see you. I want to show you one more photograph. I want to show you one more we're doing a slideshow tonight. Isn't it lovely? It's a multimedia kind of event. First of all, the uke capo. Because what would Bill be without a capo, right? Ukepo. Okay, one more shot here. I wanted to show you this. This is American Falls, Idaho. When my dad grew up, that's the Davie Grain and Fuel Company. Utah and Wyoming coal and Purina chows. They had cow chow, they had horse chow, they had goat chow, they had sheep chow. Purina goes to town on the chows. I've seen monkey chow, I've seen yak chow, I've seen buffalo chow, I've seen all kinds of different chows. But that's the Davie Grain and Fuel Company. That was the family business started by my great-grandfather when it was just a clapboard building in the old town, which is underneath a lake right now. But I've got a picture somewhere of a flat, like a buckboard wagon sitting outside of this brown board building that's 2 stories high. It says Davie Grain and Fuel at the top in American Falls, Idaho, in the old town. Because in 1925, the entire town was put on big logs and rolled up to the top of the hill and rebuilt because they were putting in the American Falls Dam on the Snake River. And the old town was underwater from that day forward, except for a single grain silo that sticks out of the middle of the reservoir to this day. It's still there. I know, it's weird. But there's people in the house tonight, like Tim, like Scott, and maybe some other folks, who remember me when this was my instrument. But it was my dad's instrument before me. It's been kicked into campfires and he told me it had been kicked into a river and kicked into a campfire. This is what I used to play. Yeah. Hasn't been played regularly for Alice could probably tell you. So I want to kind of warm up with an old Tom Paxton song. What did you learn in school today, dear little one of mine? What did you learn in school today, dear little one of mine? I learned that Washington never told a lie. I learned that soldiers seldom die. I learned that everybody's free, and that's what the teacher said to me. That's what I learned in school today. That's what I learned in school. What did you learn in school today, dear little one of mine? What did you learn in school today, dear little one of mine? I learned that policemen are my friends. I learned that justice never ends. I learned that murderers die for their crimes, even if we make a mistake sometime. And that's what I learned in school today. That's what I learned in school. What did you learn in school today, dear little one of mine? What did you learn in school today, dear little one of mine? I learned our government must be strong. It's always right and never wrong. Our leaders are the finest men, and we elect them again and again. That's what I learned in school today. That's what I learned in school. What did you learn in school today, dear little one of mine? What did you learn in school today, dear little one of mine? I I learned that war is not so bad. I learned about the great ones we have had. We fought in Germany and in France, and someday I might get my chance. That's what I learned in school today. That's what I learned in school. There you go. There you go. Barry Euchman, by the way, Cindy Snyder. Barry Euchman. That's this guy. Yeah, Barry Euchman. That's right. Back here, that's Slim. Yeah, he's been on hunger strike for a while. Like he's angry that I don't play him more, so we call him Slim. He's a little undernourished, but you know what? Who cares? You know. Now I'm not sure if Linda Hunman's in the house, but she wanted to hear this one. This is one of the first two songs that I ever learned to play in my life. Ever. Barry Euchman is going to help me out here. Train whistle blowing makes a sleepy noise. Underneath their blankets go all the girls and boys, rockin', rollin', riding out along the bay, all bound for Morningtown, many miles away. Drivers at the engine, fireman rings the bell, Sandman swings the lantern to show that all is well. Rockin', rollin', riding out along the bay, all bound for Morningtown, many miles away. Maybe it is raining where our train will ride, but all the little travelers are warm and snug inside. Hope you're singing. Rockin', rollin', riding out along the bay, all bound for Morningtown, many miles away. Somewhere there is sunshine, somewhere there is day, somewhere there is Morningtown, many miles away. Rockin', rollin', riding out along the bay, all bound for Morningtown, many miles away. Let's do that chorus again. Rockin', rollin', riding out along the bay, all bound for Morningtown, many miles away. All bound for Morningtown, many miles away. Yeah, Malvina Reynolds wrote that tune. Malvina Reynolds. She's rolling. She's rocking and rolling. What? Just go running off. In the uke sounds great. Thank you, Ken Higgins. Mark Kenny, Cindy Snyder. Cindy's glad I named Barry Euchman here. Barry Euchman, she was upset because I hadn't named all my instruments. So Barry Euchman, it's a new name. I'm Slim. Slim there, we can talk about Slim another time. You know, maybe I'll break Slim out sometime, but he's going to have to shape up, you know. He needs to put on some weight is what he needs to do. Thank you, sir. Thank you. I appreciate your indulgence on that. It's been a little while. It's been a little while. Actually, when I learned those songs, I was playing little tenor, a plastic, mind you, tenor ukulele that my dad bought my sister one, bought me one at the same time, and he took I think it was pink nail polish and wrote our names at the bottoms right down here on both of them. So we each had our names on ours because you wanted to know because they looked the same, so they needed something to distinguish them. It was probably me who said, "Well, how will we know which one's mine?" Because I was laying claim to that stuff. So I wasn't until I was probably, I don't know how old I was when I graduated to that one that he's holding on to. I always imagine that that's Fall Creek because that's where we always went and where they'd been camping for most of my dad's life. So there you have it, friends. A little something from the old days. Yeah. Oh, am I going to be able to do this? Come on, Bill. Motel coffee in a styrofoam cup, laid down real late, gotta get up. Visiting the children, the old man's back. Ashes on the asphalt of a two-lane track. Singing, remember me. Friends are scattered between these hills. Mountain heat waves, rivers chills. Cool that forehead, stretch that back. Time is precious, it's time we lack. Singing, remember me. Motel coffee clears my head, better than a bar room or a motel bed. Bedside Bible in an empty drawer. Lay my clean shirts on the motel floor. Little bitty Jesus in a little bitty room. A little bit lonely, gotta head back soon. Take a boy to breakfast, take a girl to lunch. Hello and goodbye and feel that punch. Singing, remember me. Singing, please remember me. Talk about tender, talk about tough. Talk about money, how there's never enough. Those 20 fingers, those 20 toes, got their own directions, gotta let them go. Got their own directions, gotta let them go. Singing, remember me. Singing, please remember me. Singing, please remember. It's called the Blue Spruce Motel. Blue Spruce Motel in Twisp, Washington. My Empty Nest song. I wanted to say one more thing about Barry Ueckman over there. Kelly Murphy. Kelly Murphy made playing that uke possible. He helped. I took it over to Kelly's house. He drilled a hole in the bass, and we put a new end pin in it so I could attach that cord to it. My dad had put an old wood screw in years ago, but you couldn't get a strap to stay on that thing. There was an old string that was wrapped around that was the cord on that ukulele for my entire life. But it was pretty much, there was a place where it was one strand of this cord was left, so it was time for something new. So I put a little rawhide on there. That's what Bill did. That's what I've been up to. That's my handiwork for the week. Kelly drilled the hole, put the end pin in. I tied a couple of knots and some rawhide. Yeah, I did that all by myself. The knots and the rawhide. Yeah, I was a Boy Scout. Yeah, that's right. That's right, friends. Made it all the way to Tenderfoot before I bailed. Yeah, so I'm feeling good about that. You know, the highest thing is Eagle Scout. I think Tenderfoot's kind of like a pack rat. You know, it's kind of like a pack rat. Yeah, so I made it to that level. So, you know, I'm feeling good about me. So you don't have to, you know, because I do. Yeah, I feel good. I feel good about it. Yeah, that's right, friends. Well, I'm a little, you know, I'm Mr. Scatterbrain tonight. I hope that's okay. So maybe I should read some poetry. What time is it? 7:30. Perfect. Perfect. Must be. Oh. Man, oh man. Sorry. Excuse me. Sorry about that. Did I run into somebody? Did I hit somebody? Oh, I just came to get the sparklers. Poetry break. Gotta have a little fireworks, you know, people. Okay, now, I gotta tell you. You know how in previous weeks I've been a little uncertain about my poetry? Well, we're reaching new levels of uncertainty this week. More pandemic sweet stuff. For what it's worth, I mean, I've told you, this is the newest stuff that I've written, so it is the least revised and the least reworked. But I think, if I'm not mistaken, I did do work on 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Okay. I did work this week on 6 of the 7 poems I'm going to read tonight. The other one I wrote this week, so yeah. I guess I wrote it. Yeah, I did. I wrote it since last we spoke. So, hot off the presses, the Westminster Basement Study Group has already read this, as has my songwriter group, because I sent it around because, you know, it's something that I wrote. I wrote this. Look, I wrote a thing. I didn't write a song, but I wrote a thing. And this is one of my pieces where I told you that there are several topics: crows, walking, or the inability to walk, because I haven't walked all week because, you know, not because of my body, but because of the, you know, yeah, the air quality issues. So this one starts because I was in a lot of pain when I wrote this. So that always makes it a little weird, a little more weird than usual even. See what you think. It's called Back to Sleep. Wild-eyed, the body reacts to mysterious signals sent from the apogee of wherever the moon went. Hunting along the morning track for a comfortable position, breathing in the smoke of the burning west. These are the signifiers of Earth's rejection. Burn the pests off her skin so that it can heal again. Liquid polar seas, melting permafrost, releasing methane and disease held in suspension 100,000 years. The Arctic explorer, boxed in ice for a century, awakens, takes a first warm breath, bursts his brittle lungs, and goes back to sleep. I always like to start out with something cheery, something uplifting, something that, you know, sets a trajectory for the rest of the endeavor.
So this one, I'm kind of unsure of this. It's called Is It Right to Pray? And I'm not sure that it's true or not. We'll see. I'm going to read it through, and then we'll talk, okay? We'll talk after. It's short. All of these are about that long, so the suffering will be brief. Is it right to pray? The pain of knowing how this altered world feels to our children, and how the lives we all imagined for them will never really return. This isolation is easier for the slow and old. We are already weathering storms as a lifestyle rather than chasing our futures. Our children are our futures, and their world is in a steep descent. Is it right to pray that their hope survives? I think I'm getting a little serious. Anyway, I've been hearing reports that young people are very optimistic. And I'm like, yes! So don't listen to the old guy if you're young. But if you're my age or older, maybe you feel a little of that too, because sometimes, this one's called Enough to Last. I'm just going to plow through these, and then I've got some poetry by some actual poets to read for you. Enough to Last. The inevitable babble of lines are songs I will never write. Glad little animal hymns about desire and diminishment, tortures that remind us we are sadly flawed. The stretch between the loss of vitality and death. Termination, unique as a thumbprint. Isolation starts to feel false and self-indulgent, like, what's your excuse for not going back? Screens make the distance seem easy, like we've found a good use for technology, as the artificial intelligence we breathe turns its chemistry set against us. Turning back on childhood for songs my dad sang, remembering their effect, how that was the magic trick. After the lesson, the rest of my life, mostly trees, water, and people, some of them beautiful enough to last. Which includes all you guys, in case you didn't know. This is one of the first, 3 or 4 poems I wrote in the pandemic suite. Yeah. It's called Real Patriots. Omaha. Meat packers are the real patriots. They lay down their lives so we can chew flesh. Everybody raise a flag. Follow Agent Orange's tweets right into the grinder. Surrender your skin to the broth of prophets, and billionaires will bless you with inattention. Nowhere is more nowhere. You are the disappearing dust, a pile of stones cleared from the fields, buffalo bones from here through both Dakotas. Take away their survival before telling them how they will live. Okay, time to ramp, time to come back, time to rise up. So let's see if we can pull that off with these last 3 here. I hope so. These last 4. Fate of Leaves. This is called Kinds of Motion. Kinds of Motion. Different words occur to me. A new way of painting the fence by tearing it down and enjoying the view. Every vista is a philosophy waiting to be claimed. Swing your arms as you walk. Imagine the perfect skeleton. Watching the body break down is a hobby some folks choose. It's good to have a comfortable chair, a window with trees and people in it. That's one way of knowing you're alive. You don't have to be in motion to have rich thoughts, but it's nice to feel wind in your face. It's a very odd one, but it's got crows in it, so it's included. This is called Crows and Poets. Crows gathering in that far tree before sunup, a silhouette in the window, a shadow play without sound. I imagine a cacophony as the murderous Congress is convened. I smoke weed before first light for the pain that cut short the walk, and watch the bent old man next door load his walker into the trunk. Why is he wearing golfing gloves? Gary Snyder is talking in favor of polygamy in his interview from 1965. He was 35 and still a kid. Experience pulls us out of our college of pure thought. Concepts are one thing, organic life with its imperfections, quite another. Gary Snyder was 35. Now he is 90. Put that in your bong and smoke it. Prose and poets. This is some stuff. This is some stuff, people. This one's called The Comet. My telescope is looking for the comet. My old man eyes aren't helping. They've lost the edges of things, the space between limbs on distant trees. I say it doesn't matter, but it does. The comet is off to the east, a fuzzy flashlight pointed back at us. Its tail of cosmic dust might have part of you in it. Think about that later tonight when you're watching the news. These months of isolation have given us time to think big thoughts. The structure of our society is being spruced up, repainted in wilder colors, more windows to see through. Those results, the revisions, will stand for as long as they are useful, and when the next change comes, a storm we haven't imagined yet, we'll circle in the dark for warmth and watch for the comet. One more. Fate of Leaves. Where will all the lush green leaves go when trees won't hold them up anymore? I see their commitment at the height of summer. The light in them changes with each breath of wind. Birds rise and fall among them, 10,000 hands waving at the sky. But I remember bare branches too, the scuff and crunch of dry things underfoot, those skeletons leaning over the lake while cold wind blows flakes in all directions. Theirs is a spectral patience. The quiet land sleeps, waits, folds its memories into tight little buds. There you have it. Hope those last few made the first few worthwhile. Some of you may know this book. Some of you may have this book. Some of you may have this book because I gave it to you. But it's one of my favorite books of poetry ever, by Ted Kooser and my old friend Jim Harrison. You remember Jim Harrison, right? Braided Creek. It's a conversation in poetry. I want to say that Copper Canyon Press in Port Townsend has published multiple Pulitzer Prize winning volumes of poetry. And they published Jim Harrison and Ted Kooser. They published W.S. Merwin. They published Hayden Carruth. Some of the amazing giants of the 20th and early 21st century published right up the street. Copper Canyon Press. So kudos to them for this book. Longtime friends Jim Harrison and Ted Kooser always exchanged poems in their letter writing. After Kooser was diagnosed with cancer several years ago, Harrison found that his friend's poetry became, quote, overwhelmingly vivid, unquote, and they began a correspondence comprised entirely of brief poems, quote, because that was the essence of what we wanted to say to each other, unquote. In these epigrammatic, aphoristic poems, two accomplished poets explore love and friendship and their passionate search for a little wisdom, pausing to celebrate the natural world, aging, everyday things and scenes, and poetry itself. When asked about attributions for the individual poems, one of them replied, "Everyone gets tired of this continuing cult of personality. This book is an assertion in favor of poetry and against credentials." So it doesn't say who wrote them, but they're just little things like that. Little 3, 4, 5 line things. like this. How one old tire leans up against another, the breath gone out of both. Old friend, perhaps we work too hard at being remembered. Which way will the creek run when time ends? Don't ask me until this wine bottle is empty. While my bowl is still half full, you can eat out of it too. And when it is empty, just bury it out in the flowers. Each clock tick falls like a raindrop right through the floor, as if it were nothing. The Pilot razor point pen is my compass, watch, and soul chaser. Thousands of miles of black squiggles. I use a Pilot pen also. So, of course, it's the official. No. Yeah. Under the storyteller's hat are many heads, all troubled. At dawn, a rabbit stretches tall to eat the red asparagus berries. The big fat garter snake emerged from the gas stove burner where she had coiled around the pilot light for warmth on a cold night. I love this one. Straining on the toilet, we learn how the lightning bug feels. All I want to be is 1,000 blackbirds bursting from a tree, seeding the sky. Republicans think that all over the world, darker-skinned people are having more fun than they are. It's largely true. Faucet dripping into a pan, dog lapping water, the same sweet music. The wit of the corpse is lost on the lid of the coffin. A book on the arm of my chair, and the morning before me. You gotta love these guys. I may read more from that in coming weeks, just because I may not want to read any of my poetry for a while. I was going to read out of Blue Sky Mind, and I may read out of Blue Sky Mind before I'm done. I may even read out of Raiding the Clutter. Yeah. Because there's a few poems in those that I like, even now, even after all this time. How's everybody doing? Am I being too out there tonight? Am I being too something? You keep coming back, then, stuff's probably going to get weirder. It's kind of the way things go. Yeah. Oh, well. New strings. I'm on my lips, but I still got my dignity. I'm on my lips. My mommy's calling me. I'm on my lips. Let's speak in broader terms. I'm on my lips. Roll over this bed of worms. You see, I'm gonna write a book about it. Bleed the ledger's red. Retire to Micronesia. Put a bullet in my head. I'm on my lips. I'm on my lips. My eyes don't focus right. I'm on my lips. Guess I'm afraid they might. I'm on my lips. Just look at these toasted clothes. I'm on my lips.
not to mention the bloody nose. 'Cause I've been beaten up and brutalized by things that I have said, and now I'm doing my level best to place my face beneath the tread. I'm on my lips, I'm on my lips, yes I. And night on night I try to think up an alibi. Whoa, whoa, honey. And night on night I try to learn to say goodbye. When I'm on my lips, it's not a real gun. I'm on my lips, they wouldn't sell me one. I'm on my lips, must have been my checkered past. I'm on my lips, maybe the body cast. I got rope and open blasting caps to see me to the end. But if I'm gonna find a match, I might be forced to make a friend. I'm on my lips, I'm on my lips right now, yeah. And night on night I try to think up an alibi. Wa-la-la-la. And night on night I try to learn to say goodbye, goodbye, goodbye.
Yeah!
I've got nothing but these tired hands, modern lovers in a foreign land. It's the narrow gate where we rejuvenate. Slender shoulders lean away from me, bits of crystal drop into the sea. It's romantic fate where we rejuvenate. Ticking clocks that seem to seep right in, creeping silences that chill the skin just accelerate where we rejuvenate. Watching years like TV shows, where they begin and end, no one knows, is it early or late? Where we rejuvenate, where we rejuvenate. Look at her, she's a flyer who loops through the past. Look at me, I'm a coward lashed to the mast. Park the car beneath a shedding tree, only dead ones are getting free. It's a vast estate where we rejuvenate. I still remember what my parents said, patience breaking like daily bread. Can we hold the way where we rejuvenate, where we rejuvenate. Look at her, she's a flyer who loops through the past. Look at me, I'm a coward lashed to the mast. I've got nothing but these tired hands, modern lovers in a foreign land. It's the narrow gate where we rejuvenate, where we rejuvenate, where we rejuvenate.
The Narrow Gate. That's an old one that I revised. That's back on the set list. because of you guys. Because you know, I felt challenged to dig a little deeper, to go back, to find out what happened to some of these old songs of mine. Thank you. One of the many thank yous I have for you. Ever so briefly now. Hey kids! Dialing up the ICU2 TV set. Birthdays this week. First of all, Ms. Robin Wheeler up in the Methow Valley. My old buddy from the Angry Housewives cast. Kathy Brewer is having a birthday tomorrow. Kathy, hi Kathy, happy birthday. Loris, you got something planned? I'm sure it's going to be great. Don't even worry about it. I'm not worried. Also tomorrow, Mr. Terry Meisenberg is having a birthday tomorrow. Mr. Meisenberg was my high school drama teacher. Also Tim Swiger's high school drama teacher. Patsy Kenny's high school drama teacher. Roland Burge's high school drama teacher. Props to Mr. Terry Meisenberg. Brian Butler, local blues guitarist, absolute legend, award-winning, a great songwriter. Brian, miss seeing you at the Ancient Victories open mics, man. Nancy K. Dillon, having a birthday this week, also on Wednesday. Yes. Laura Fine, my old friend from Methow Arts from many, 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 many decades ago. Laura Fine celebrating a birthday today. Happy birthday, Laura. And finally on Friday, Mr. Veld Daveheisen, or as he's better known, Dave Veldhuisen from down in Eugene. I always called him Veld Daveheisen because I'm weird, you know? And I don't mind who knows it, as you can tell. Right. Happy birthday, everybody. And I'm so happy that Roland and Dorothy stopped by tonight. That can't be right. So, if you want to make a request, write it in all caps, okay? Yeah, I'll find it. Well, it's just easier to find is all I'm saying. And, you don't have to have the exact title. So if you're afraid to ask for it because, you only know the song because do the, the lips, the one, the lips. Yeah, don't be afraid. I won't hold it against you. Yeah, titles are weird. So I'm going to do one more for you, and it's a Pete Seeger song. I learned that Tom Paxton tune off a Pete Seeger album. What Did You Learn in School Today, that's called. That maybe have been, well, no, because John Denver covered Forest Lawn, another great Tom Paxton tune. Okay, I'm tangled. Okay, what are these doing up here? Excuse me. Got some extra pasta laying around that I should probably deal with. So I'm sorry I'm not at my best tonight, but you know what I decided this week? I decided I would rather be here not at my best than to not be here and still not be at my best. It's better to be present than it is to be good, or to be up to my own personal qualitative standards. Yeah. So you do something you wear tie-dye and plaid together, and you say, "Hey, I'm not at my best tonight," and people have basically already gotten the message, because everybody here is pretty smart. So I got to tell you my Pete Seeger story. It's fairly brief. I went to one Folk Alliance conference in my life down in Portland, and Pete and Toshi walked into the lobby when I was standing there, and my life was over, or my life was complete. I could have died just then. But first, I had to walk up to Pete and introduce myself and hand him a copy of my album. Yeah. It was the Gravity album. Yeah. And, Mr. Seeger, I've been an admirer. I grew up with Pete Seeger. He was my, one of my huge musical mentors just in my bedroom, from late grade school through high school and to this day. Pete was, and he said, "Oh, pleased to meet you, Bill. You introduced me to Toshi." And I shook Toshi's hand, and he was looking at my album. He said, "Gee, Bill, did you write all these songs yourself?" I'm like, "That's right, sir. That's right, I did." I was in my 30s, I'm like, What are you going to do? One of the other nights of the same Folk Alliance conference, I went to what do they call it? They used to call them they called it. One of those things where everybody was in somebody's room. It was a pirate showcase. That's what they called them. Pirate showcase. K-Boo Radio was broadcasting live from one of the rooms. And Pete was there with his banjo. Yeah. And a good friend of his asked him to play this song. And Pete said, well, somebody else is going to have to sing it because his voice was pretty much shot by then. But he played it. And we all sang it. Probably one of the finest songs I know of on the planet. And I'm almost 100% sure that Pete wrote it. The melody might not be original, but I'm pretty sure Pete wrote this one. If somebody knows different, correct me, and I'll gladly be corrected. But I could not find attribution to anybody but Pete Seeger on this one.
Well, may the world go, the world go, the world go. Well, may the world go when I'm far away. Well, may the world go, the world go, the world go. Well, may the world go when I'm far away. Well, may the skiers turn, the swimmers churn, the lovers burn. Peace may the generals learn when I'm far away. Well, may the world go, the world go, the world go. Well, may the world go when I'm far away. Well, may the world go, the world go, the world go. Well, may the world go when I'm far away. Sweet may the fiddle sound, the banjo play the old hoedown. Dancers swing round and round when I'm far away. Well, may the world go, the world go, the world go. Well, may the world go when I'm far away. Sing along. Well, may the world go, the world go, the world go. Well, may the world go when I'm far away. Fresh may the breezes blow, clear may the streams flow, blue above and green below when I'm far away. Well, may the world go, the world go, the world go. Well, may the world go when I'm far away. Well, may the world go, the world go, the world go. Well, may the world go when I'm far away. Couple more times. Well, may the world go, the world go, the world go. Well, may the world go when I'm far away. Well, may the world go, the world go, the world go. Well, may the world go when I'm far away.
There you go. That hour went pretty quick. It did. Goodness gracious. Thank you for hanging in there with me. I know I was a little rough around the edges tonight. The poetry was iffy at best, but I'm working on it. I'm working on it. You got me writing. You got me relearning my old songs. You got me taking Barry Eucton down off the wall. Unbelievable. Unbelievable. Thank you for giving me this gift of this evening, once a week. And you know, shortly I'll be feeling better. The weather will cool down. The smoke will clear. And I'll have my body back. And then there won't be no stopping me then. All right? In the meantime, take care of each other. I'm well taken care of by the hand, believe me. We're doing great, okay? See you next week, for sure.